Our history is all around us, from ancient stones to mighty castles, from our towns and cities to our humble crofts. A lot of our present is made up of our past. Today we're living in a digital age. We can record the world around us with great accuracy. Cutting-edge digital technologies not only give us a glimpse of the future, we can also see our past in new and exciting ways.
Scotland's World Heritage Sites are part of a much bigger global story that tells the history of human beings across the planet, so it's incredibly exciting that we're part of that. Fundamentally for me, heritage tells you where you've come from and perhaps can inform where we go in the future.
Heritage is at risk around the world from threats such as fire, flooding and deliberate acts of destruction and vandalism.
With the threats increasing, it's more important than ever to record our heritage.
Laser scanning is a great way to document large-scale sites as well as buildings. Very simply, laser scanning works by firing a point of laser light out to a surface. This point then returns to the laser scanner. It's able to calculate the time that takes, and by doing that it gives that point a 3D coordinate. Laser scanners can do this up to 1 million times a second, so very quickly you get an incredibly accurate 3D model of an entire site or structure.
The 3D data set of coordinates is known as a point cloud. The individual data points are joined together to create a 3D model, which is then textured. Once the 3D digital model has been created, we're free to fly around this virtual world. We can leap buildings with a single click of a mouse. If a site was ever damaged, this data record will be an invaluable tool in any reconstruction.
Having 3D models of historic sites allows us to do really interesting things, looking at buildings from different perspectives and quite often being able to pull buildings apart virtually, and that can be incredibly useful in telling the story of how a building's been put together.
As well as documenting how a building looks today, the technology can be used in combination with scientific analysis to show how the past was once vividly coloured. In effect, we can travel back in time, digitally.
The Centre for Digital Documentation and Visualisation, or Cddv for short, is our partnership between Historic Environment Scotland and the Glasgow School of Art.
Historic Environment Scotland have the knowledge on the heritage, and the Glasgow School of Art have the fabulous visualisation team. So to pull those two together creates this amazing partnership that we have.
The Cddv was set up initially to deliver the Scottish 10 project. The Scottish 10 journey started here at New Lanark in this wonderful and unique 19th century mill village.
So the idea was that we would document all 5 Scottish heritage sites at the time, and we would document 5 overseas sites as a route to cultural diplomacy.
We could build partnerships with the international heritage organisations and form stronger links with the countries that we were fortunate enough to work with. It was important for us to document these for many different reasons, and each project had a unique challenge. The data was initially intended to be used for conservation and management, and then also for interpretation and education purposes, and to help provide remote access to these sites.
We're able to have a highly accurate 3D snapshot in time, which will allow people to remotely access them and experience sites and places which they may not be able to visit themselves.
The Neolithic burial tomb at Maes Howe on Orkney can be very difficult for visitors to access. The team used an incredibly detailed 3D scan of the tomb to create a virtual reality tour. Now, instead of actually going there, visitors can just pop on a headset and be instantly transported into an astonishingly lifelike virtual 3D Maes Howe. Our history is suddenly brought to life, giving us an exciting new perspective on our past. For the Antonine Wall, the team developed an app that is an exciting educational tool. It's based on daily life inside a Roman fort on the Antonine Wall. It brings history and heritage to life for a younger audience.
In Scotland, climate change and coastal erosion is something we're particularly concerned about as a threat to our heritage, and in particular here at Skara Brae at the World Heritage Site. And because this is such an important place, we come here every 2 years to monitor the coastline. We can accurately compare scans from different periods of time and see if there has been any movement or any erosion that's taken place.
So by having initial data, you're then able to compare every data set from then on against this, and that will then inform you if there's been any change.
Creating a digital record of these sites is incredibly useful for archive purposes for future generations, but also to inform the conservation management of these sites now in the present. The visualisation work is actually underpinned by point clouds, and the wonderful thing about the point cloud and these data dots is that they will be accessible for hundreds of years to come.
We use the point cloud data as a highly accurate information resource that we then develop and extract information from and add intelligence to create what's known as a building information model. Building information modelling will offer us fantastic opportunities in the future in a number of areas. For example, it'll help us to plan and manage visitor flow on our properties. It'll help us to manage our emergency procedures as well. And finally, it'll also give us a very good handle on managing the maintenance of our properties.
The Forth Bridge is one of Scotland's most famous structures. As part of a bid for World Heritage status, the team were asked to survey this industrial wonder.
The Forth Bridge was a piece of outstanding cutting-edge engineering in its time, and it's more than appropriate that we're using cutting-edge technologies in the form of 3D laser scanning to record it now.
For us, the Forth Bridge is an unprecedented project. It is, in terms of data and scale and access and the application of technology, larger than pretty much any project we've undertaken previously. It's comprised of 1,426 individual scans, and that adds up to about 22 billion individual measurements.
The Forth Bridge is one of the most iconic structures in Scotland, and we were absolutely delighted that after 3 years' work, it was inscribed onto the World Heritage List by UNESCO in 2015.
Following the success of the Scottish 10 project, the RAE project was launched. Its aim is to document all Historic Environment Scotland's 335 properties.
We hold in our care an amazing range of properties which are all of national significance. The scale of these sites are from the very massive Edinburgh Stirling Castle to the very small, potentially very fragile sites like Arnall here. The Black House is very susceptible to the issues of climate change that we're facing today. For us, the RAE project is very important, first of all in terms of the conservation of our properties and understanding the properties, but also the opportunities that gives us to tell stories about the properties. It's a great opportunity for us. As well as the 335 properties that are in our care, we will be scanning for artefacts that are associated with those properties.
Documenting artefacts represents a very different challenge from recording sites themselves. A whole range of scanning techniques is used to record artefacts with sub-millimetre accuracy. For paintings and documents, the team use gigapixel photography. This combines thousands of individual images to produce a highly detailed record. For artefacts that are too large or too precious to handle, 3D printing is used to produce exact replicas. These are a useful tool for hands-on teaching and for display. The team not only records heritage sites, it also brings historic events to life, and in 3D. By taking visitors into the middle of the action during the Battle of Bannockburn, they aim to create an immersive and interactive experience.
Scotland has found itself at the forefront of this technology internationally, and increasingly we're being called upon to help other countries across the world deal with heritage sites at risk, their survey, documentation and presentation.
In the future, I think digital documentation and visualisation is certainly going to become more commonplace. I think more people are going to be capturing their own data, and as new technologies emerge, I think there are going to be a lot more ways that we can disseminate and share this information. So it's a very exciting time to be involved in digital documentation.
The Engine Shed is all about sharing. The Engine Shed is all about learning and facilitating, get people excited, a new generation excited.
We're hoping to inspire a whole new generation to engage more with heritage.
The Scots have always been technological innovators. We just see ourselves as part of that continuing journey.
The next generation can take our heritage forward into the future and help share it with the world. The hope is to use technology to create a whole new generation of digital time travellers.